Have you ever felt that love could hide a secret so dark it could change everything? Tonight, Emma faces a night she will never forget. A night of suspense, heartbreak, and a love that refuses to let go. Every shadow hides a secret. Every whisper carries fear. And one choice could mean the difference between losing everything or discovering a love so powerful it could heal even the deepest pain. Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you will feel her fear, her hope, and the heartbeat of a love that refuses to let her go. And if you are someone who loves stories that touch the heart, thrill the mind, and leave a memory you cannot forget, make sure to hit that subscribe button now, because every heartbeat of this journey is waiting for you, and you won't want to miss the next chapter of suspense, love, and unforgettable emotions. The night was thick with mist. Streetlights flickered, casting trembling shadows across the empty road. Emma walked slowly, her coat tight around her shoulders. The air smelled of wet asphalt and pine, sharp and cold. Her heart raced, a quiet rhythm against the stillness. Somewhere far away, a dog barked, echoing through the darkness. She felt the brush of something behind her, subtle but undeniable. A shiver ran down her spine. She turned quickly, eyes straining to see. The fog seemed to thicken, wrapping around the lampposts and trees. Every step she took sounded louder than it should. Her fingers clutched the strap of her bag as if it could shield her. A distant wind whispered through the branches, carrying an unsettling creak. Suddenly, a door slammed shut somewhere close, startling her. Her breath came fast, misting in the cold air. A shadow shifted near the corner of the street, too large to be a person, yet too fluid to be solid. Emma froze, her senses heightened, every sound amplified. The faint scent of roses drifted from nowhere, sweet and impossible in the night. A sudden movement caught her eye, a figure stepping silently from the darkness. The eyes that met hers were filled with pain and longing, but something darker lurked beneath. Her stomach twisted, a knot of fear and curiosity battling within her. The figure reached out, slowly, almost tenderly, but the air between them crackled with tension. Emma's pulse thundered, and her knees threatened to buckle. A metallic sound scraped against the pavement behind her, sharp and close. She spun around, heart hammering, but the street remained empty. When she looked back, the figure had moved closer, their presence undeniable. Emma felt a cold hand brush against her arm, though no one was there. The world seemed to tilt, reality bending around her senses. The mist wrapped tighter, suffocating yet beautiful, like a veil hiding secrets. Her own voice trembled as she whispered, asking for a name, for an explanation. The figure's lips parted, and a faint smile appeared, but their eyes glimmered with a dangerous truth. Emma realized in that instant that this encounter was not by chance. Her past had followed her, hidden behind the safety she thought she had found. Every sound, every shadow, every chill in the night spoke of secrets long buried. And as she took a step back, the ground beneath her seemed uncertain, as if the world itself held its breath. The figure's smile widened, and the air thickened with tension, pressing against her chest. Emma's eyes darted around, searching for an escape, but the fog swallowed every path. Her hands shook, gripping the bag so tightly that her knuckles whitened. A faint whisper reached her ears, a voice she thought she had left behind forever. Her stomach dropped, heart pounding louder than ever. The night felt alive, watching, waiting, holding its secrets just out of reach. Emma stepped forward, and the figure did the same, moving with a grace that was both comforting and terrifying. A sudden realization struck her. Love could be dangerous, and safety could be an illusion. The air vibrated with a tension that made every hair on her neck stand on end. She blinked, trying to see clearly, but the mist and shadows twisted together, hiding the truth. A sudden chill ran through her body, a warning she could not ignore. The figure's hand hovered near hers, close enough to touch but not touching. Emma's mind raced, every memory of her past mingling with the uncertainty of the present. The street seemed endless, the fog endless, and yet this moment felt eternal. She realized that some secrets, once revealed, could change everything. Her breath caught as the figure finally spoke, a name that resonated in her soul and shattered her composure. Her ears still echoed with the name, a sound that seemed to come from both a dream and a nightmare. Her body stiffened, every nerve alight with a mix of fear and recognition. She knew that voice. It belonged to someone she had buried deep inside her heart, a memory she had tried to forget. The mist swirled around them, curling like fingers of the past trying to pull her back. Her pulse raced, each beat a drum of warning and desire, of longing and dread. The figure stepped closer, the dim light from the street lamp glinting off their eyes, revealing a truth she did not want to face. Tears threatened to spill, hot and unbidden, as memories crashed into her with relentless force. She remembered the nights filled with whispers, promises, and lies. She remembered running, hiding, hoping the past would stay behind her. But here it was, alive and breathing, standing in the fog like a ghost she could not escape. Her legs trembled, yet she could not turn away. Her mind screamed to flee, yet her heart, inexplicably, leaned in. The figure's presence was magnetic, a pull she could neither resist nor understand. Every step they took brought her back into a world she thought she had left forever. The cold night air felt heavier now, pressing against her chest, making every breath a conscious effort. She could feel the tension radiating off the figure, a mixture of longing, regret, and something darker, something she feared to name. The wind picked up, whipping her hair into her face, blurring her vision. She blinked rapidly, trying to steady herself, but the shadows seemed to move with a life of their own. A single lamp flickered violently, then steadied, as if signaling the fragility of the moment. The figure's hand finally brushed against hers, a touch so light it could have been mistaken for the mist itself. Her heart leapt, an ache of hope and terror entwined. The warmth of the touch contrasted with the icy chill creeping into her bones. Her mind fought against the pull, whispering caution, but her heart ignored the warning. The figure leaned slightly closer, their eyes searching hers, as if looking for permission, as if trying to find the woman she used to be. The smell of rain-dampened earth mixed with a faint scent of roses, disorienting her senses. She took a shaky step back, yet her feet felt rooted to the spot. Her chest heaved with unspent emotion, a storm threatening to break free. The figure spoke again, their voice low, smooth, but trembling with unspoken pain. They said words she had hoped never to hear again, words that carried both apology and confession. Emma felt tears spill, warm drops against the cold of her cheeks. Her hand rose to her mouth, stifling a sob that threatened to escape. Her eyes locked with theirs, searching for truth among the layers of secrecy and deception. She could feel her past and present colliding, like waves crashing violently against cliffs. Every heartbeat seemed louder, echoing through her chest, reverberating in the quiet of the night. The figure's gaze softened, revealing glimpses of the person she had once loved, the person who had left her broken yet still unforgettable. A sudden movement in the fog caught her attention, a shadow, darker than the night, watching, waiting. Emma's stomach churned with dread, the primal fear of being hunted, of danger unseen. Her breath quickened, misting in the cold night air, her fingers trembling as she clenched the bag to her chest. The figure noticed the change, their expression twisting between concern and frustration. "Emma, you must listen," they said urgently, voice barely above a whisper. "There is something you do not know, something that has been following you, even now." Emma swallowed hard, her throat tight, a lump forming that made speaking impossible. "Tell me," she finally managed, her voice shaking with a combination of fear and determination. The figure's eyes darkened, shadowed by memories and secrets, their hand hovering just inches from hers. "You are not safe," they said, each word deliberate, cutting through the night air. A sudden rustle came from the shadows behind her, a sound like a footstep or a scraping metal. Emma turned sharply, but nothing moved beyond the mist. Her heart pounded as if it could break free of her chest. The figure reached out again, taking her hand firmly this time, grounding her, anchoring her against the rising panic. "Trust me," they said. "If you run now, you may never find the truth. But if you stay, You will learn what has been hidden from you. The fog swirled around them, tightening, enclosing, almost suffocating in its intensity. Emma felt an inexplicable pull, a mixture of fear, love, and raw curiosity. Her legs trembled, but she stayed rooted, gripping their hand, seeking courage she did not know she possessed. A sudden whisper rose from the fog, unintelligible, yet filled with malice. Her hair stood on end, goosebumps rising along her arms. The figure's grip tightened, their eyes scanning the darkness, alert, prepared. "Do you hear that?" they asked, voice tense. Emma nodded, swallowing the lump in her throat, her mind racing with questions, with memories, with a strange exhilaration. The sound grew louder, a low hum, a pulse that seemed to vibrate through the very ground beneath their feet. Her chest heaved as panic mingled with fascination, a dangerous thrill coursing through her veins. She realized in that moment that everything she thought she knew about her life was unraveling. The mist parted slightly, revealing a shadowy figure further down the street, watching, waiting. Emma's breath caught, and she felt an icy fear twist her stomach. Her heart screamed, but her body would not move. The figure pulled her slightly closer, their eyes meeting hers in a silent plea for courage. "You are not alone," they said softly. "But danger is closer than you think." Emma felt the cold air bite into her skin, the hairs on her neck rising in alarm. The shadowy figure took a step forward, slow, deliberate, almost predatory. The suspense became unbearable, the night a living entity, holding its secrets just out of reach. Emma's mind raced, emotions colliding. Fear, love, longing, and a desperate need to know the truth. The figure whispered again, words she barely heard over her racing heartbeat. "You must face it," they said. "If you want to start over, if you want to live fully again." The shadow moved closer, the outline of a face just visible, distorted by the fog. Emma's breath caught in her throat as terror and anticipation mixed. She realized then that her life had changed forever in a single chilling moment. Her hand squeezed theirs, a silent promise, a plea for strength. The wind howled through the trees, carrying with it secrets long buried, and the night seemed to hold its breath, waiting for her next move. The figure's lips curved slightly in a grim, tender smile, eyes reflecting both sorrow and hope. Emma's heart trembled, a storm of emotions threatening to break her. The shadow stopped moving, as if sensing her hesitation, as if testing her resolve. Time seemed to stretch, the seconds heavy with tension, the mist wrapping tighter around them. Every nerve in her body screamed that something monumental was about to happen. The figure leaned closer, their voice barely audible above the wind. "You must trust me," they said, "or everything will be lost." Emma's fingers trembled around theirs, and she realized the night held more than fear. It held the possibility of redemption, of love, of truth finally revealed. And in that moment, standing on the edge of the unknown, Emma understood that there was no turning back. The shadow stirred, the fog thickened, and the night itself seemed to whisper secrets meant only for her ears. Her pulse raced, her breath came in short gasps, and she knew that the moment of reckoning had arrived. The figure took her hand fully into theirs, a grounding touch amid chaos. Emma stepped forward, heart pounding, into the mist, into the unknown, into a story that was hers to face. The shadow advanced, the wind screamed, and the world around them trembled with anticipation. Her mind was a storm, her heart a battlefield, and yet she felt a strange calm beneath the terror, a courage she had not known she possessed. The figure's eyes locked onto hers once more, filled with unspoken promises and warnings. Emma inhaled deeply, the mist wrapping around her like a cloak of both fear and hope. She knew the night would test her, that the truth she sought would hurt, that the past would challenge her, but she also knew she could not turn away. The shadow loomed and the figure whispered, "Together we face it, no matter what comes." Emma nodded, feeling the weight of history, the pull of destiny, and the fragile beauty of love that survived even in the darkest hours. Her heart raced, her mind sharpened, and in the cold, whispering night, she took the first step toward the truth she had always feared and longed for. Emma's breath came in shallow gasps, her chest rising and falling like waves against a jagged shore. The fog swirled, curling around their feet, concealing the street and the approaching shadow. Every sound was amplified. The distant wail of a siren, the whisper of leaves scraping against one another, the uneven beat of her own heart. Her hand remained in his, warm and firm, a lifeline tethering her to the fragile courage she barely felt. The shadow moved closer, slow, deliberate, its presence almost suffocating in the dense night air. Emma could feel her pulse hammering against her ribcage, threatening to burst free. Every nerve in her body screamed that danger was imminent. The figure beside her tightened his grip, anchoring her, steadying her, silently saying, "You are not alone." A sudden sound, sharp and metallic, rang out from behind, like the scrape of a knife against concrete. Emma flinched, and the shadow paused, as if aware she had noticed it. Her stomach churned, twisting with a mixture of fear, anticipation, and a strange, forbidden longing. The mist swirled, thick and suffocating, turning the street into a labyrinth of light and shadow. Emma could barely make out the contours of the figure's face in the dim glow of the flickering lamp. There was sorrow there, pain she recognized, and a truth that threatened to shatter her completely. "I am here," he whispered, his voice carrying both warning and reassurance. Emma's lips trembled, but she forced words past the lump in her throat. "Who is it? What do they want?" she asked, voice barely audible, trembling with both fear and curiosity. The figure's eyes narrowed, scanning the darkness beyond them. "They have followed you for longer than you know," he said slowly, each word deliberate, weighted with danger. Emma's mind raced, memories and fears colliding. A part of her wanted to run, to flee into the night and leave this nightmare behind. But another part, the part that had longed for truth, for love, for closure, anchored her in place. The shadow stirred again, closer this time, its intentions unclear but undeniably menacing. Emma could feel the cold seeping into her bones, chilling her to the marrow. The wind whipped her hair across her face, carrying with it the faint scent of wet earth and something metallic, a warning she could not ignore. "Emma," the figure said urgently, "do not move. Trust me, and we will survive this." She nodded, her heart hammering in her chest, every instinct screaming danger, yet she obeyed, rooted to the spot. The shadow paused, and for a heartbeat, the world felt suspended, a fragile moment where time itself held its breath. Emma could hear her own pulse in her ears, loud and insistent, a drumbeat of fear and determination. The figure leaned closer, his face inches from hers, eyes searching hers for strength. "You have to trust me," he said, voice low, almost a growl of warning. A sudden movement in the fog made her gasp, the shadow shifting with terrifying fluidity. It moved faster now, closing the distance, almost as if it could read her fear and feed on it. Emma's fingers dug into his hand, nails biting the skin as adrenaline surged through her veins. The figure whispered her name again, a tether pulling her back from the edge of panic. "You are stronger than you know," he said, "and together we can face what comes next." Her legs shook, but she stood, her mind clearing amidst the chaos, her heart a fierce storm of courage and love. The shadow emerged fully now, taller than expected, its face obscured by the swirling fog. Emma could feel the presence pressing against her, suffocating, menacing, a tangible weight of malice. A scream rose from somewhere far away, distant yet echoing in the empty street, amplifying the tension. She clenched her jaw, summoning every ounce of courage she possessed. Her fingers tightened around his, seeking not only safety but the comfort of connection. "You are not alone," he said again, voice steady, a lifeline in the storm of fear. The shadow took another step forward, slow, deliberate, a predator testing its prey. Emma's chest tightened, but she did not back down. Her gaze met the figure beside her, searching for reassurance, finding it in the fire burning in his eyes. A single street lamp flickered violently, casting grotesque shadows across the buildings, turning the world into a distorted, surreal landscape. The shadow hesitated, as if sensing the resolve in her stance. Emma's mind raced, memories of the past colliding with the terror of the present. She realized that the fear she felt was not only for herself but for the truth that had been hidden from her for too long. The figure pressed closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "You are ready," he said, "ready to see what has been kept in the dark, ready to confront the past that haunts you." The shadow advanced one final step, and the fog parted slightly, revealing a face Emma had not expected to see. Her breath caught, tears welling in her eyes as shock and recognition collided. The figure beside her tightened his grip, and she leaned instinctively into his strength. "You know them," he said softly, almost a question, almost a plea. Emma nodded, unable to speak, her mind a whirlwind of fear, grief, and disbelief. The shadow's eyes locked onto hers, and in that gaze, she saw not only malice but regret, a fractured soul bound to her own story in ways she had never imagined. The wind howled around them, whipping through the street, carrying secrets and whispers from the past. Emma felt every sensation intensely, the cold biting her skin, the sweat on her palms, the pounding of her heart, the warmth of his hand steadying hers. A sudden flash of lightning illuminated the street, stark and revealing, and in that instant, every detail became horrifyingly clear. The shadow was not merely an enemy. It was a reflection of choices, of pain, of love lost and betrayed. Her knees threatened to buckle, but the figure's hand anchored her, pulling her into a fragile defiance. "You can face this," he said firmly, "and you will not do it alone." The shadow stepped closer, and Emma realized that this confrontation was inevitable, a reckoning she had feared but had always known was coming. Her heart ached with love and grief, with longing and fear, a tempest of emotions threatening to overwhelm her. The fog swirled tighter, the night pressing in, the world holding its breath for the moment of revelation. The figure leaned close, his voice a steady murmur in the chaos. "Together," he said, "we will survive this night. Together, we will uncover the truth." Emma drew a shaky breath, feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders and the strength of the hand in hers. The shadow loomed, and the street seemed to shrink, the night closing in, a stage set for the confrontation of a lifetime. Her mind raced with memories, fear, and love, every emotion heightened by the danger surrounding her. The figure squeezed her hand, and in that touch, she found courage, hope, and a fragile promise of safety. The shadow paused, the fog swirled, and the night seemed to hold its breath once more, waiting for Emma to take the next step. Her heart thundered, every nerve alive with anticipation, dread, and determination. She stepped forward, hand in his, eyes locked on the figure before her, ready to face the truth, ready to confront the past, ready to embrace the storm of love and fear that defined her life. The wind screamed, the fog thickened, and in the oppressive darkness, Emma realized that she was not only confronting a shadow outside of herself but the shadows within her own heart. The figure beside her whispered, "No matter what comes, I am with you." Her heart ached with a mix of terror and love, every fiber of her being trembling as the final moments of suspense and revelation closed in. The shadow took a final step, and Emma knew that the night would never be the same again. She exhaled, a shuddering breath that carried with it fear, hope, and the first sparks of courage she had reclaimed in years. The storm of emotions swirled around her, and she realized that the path forward was terrifying yet undeniably hers to walk. The figure beside her nodded, silently sharing the burden and the courage, a tether of love and trust in the midst of the terror. Emma drew in the cold night air, feeling the weight of destiny and the trembling possibility of a future reclaimed from fear. The shadow loomed, the night held its breath, and Emma stepped fully into the moment, ready to face whatever awaited her. Her hand tightened around his, and together, they moved into the mist, into the unknown, into the truth, into love, and into the reckoning that would change everything. The night stretched on, thick with suspense, and in that silence before revelation, Emma realized that she had never felt more alive, more terrified, and more human than she did in this moment. Every heartbeat, every breath, every tremor of fear and hope was a testament to survival, love, and the courage to face the shadows of the past. The shadow hesitated, as if sensing her resolve, its dark outline trembling in the fog. Emma's hand remained in his, the warmth a fragile shield against the icy terror creeping around her. Every step forward felt like walking on the edge of a knife, a thin line between safety and utter danger. The figure beside her whispered again, low and urgent, "Stay close. Do not let go. Trust only what you feel here." Emma's heart thudded violently against her chest, each beat echoing in her ears like a drum of war. The shadow shifted, revealing glimpses of a face twisted by anger and grief, eyes burning with a pain that mirrored her own. A cold gust of wind swept down the street, carrying the faint scent of rain, of decay, of secrets long hidden. She drew in a shaky breath, tasting the fear that clung to the night, thick and metallic. The figure squeezed her hand again, grounding her, anchoring her to the moment, to the courage she needed. "You are stronger than you realize," he murmured, his lips near her ear, his voice a lifeline in the suffocating fog. Emma nodded, tears spilling freely now, hot and sharp, running down her cheeks as emotion and fear collided. The shadow advanced, deliberate, predator-like, each step a heartbeat of terror in the silent street. Emma's stomach twisted into knots, yet she stood her ground, leaning into the strength of the hand she held. The figure drew a step closer, shielding her, and in his eyes, she saw the same storm that raged within her. Fear, love, anger, longing. A sudden sound shattered the tense quiet, a metallic clang from an alley nearby, echoing like a gunshot through the mist. Emma jumped, gasping, and the shadow froze, as if the world itself had stilled in response. Her mind raced, every memory of betrayal and heartache mingling with the present terror. "I will not let them hurt you," the figure whispered fiercely, his jaw tight, eyes narrowing toward the darkness. Emma's fingers clenched around his hand, drawing strength from his presence, even as her body trembled uncontrollably. The shadow moved again, faster now, slipping through the fog with almost supernatural grace. Her pulse thundered, adrenaline surging through her veins, heightening every sense. The damp night air clung to her skin, chilling her bones while making her hyper-aware of every sound, every movement, every breath. The figure beside her whispered her name softly, and she felt the love and fear in that single word. "You are not alone," he said, voice trembling slightly, though his gaze remained unwavering. The shadow halted a few feet away, the fog swirling around its form like smoke, hiding its true size and intent. Emma swallowed hard, feeling both dread and an impossible curiosity pulling her forward. "You can face this," the figure murmured, "but you must do it with me. Trust me. Do not falter." Her knees shook, but she did not move back. Her heart, heavy with past pain, throbbed fiercely with a mix of terror and determination. The shadow raised a hand slowly, deliberately, revealing something in its grasp, a small, glinting object that caught the lamplight. Emma's stomach dropped. She recognized it instantly. It was a token from her past, one she had thought lost forever, a symbol of a promise broken, of love betrayed. The figure beside her tightened his grip on her hand, their fingers intertwining in a silent vow of protection. Emma's breath came in short, jagged gasps, her mind a storm of fear, memory, and desire. The shadow spoke, voice low, harsh, carrying both accusation and regret. "You cannot hide from the truth, Emma. It belongs to you." Her chest tightened, a painful, sharp ache, memories flooding her senses. Laughter, betrayal, stolen nights, whispered confessions. The fog swirled more violently, a physical force pressing against them, hiding and revealing the world in twisted layers. Emma's legs trembled, yet she planted her feet firmly, drawing courage from the figure at her side. The shadow stepped closer still, its eyes never leaving hers, unblinking, burning with a mixture of anger and longing. "You must see this," it said, raising the object higher. "You must remember. You must choose." Emma felt tears blur her vision, her chest heaving as the past and present collided violently. The figure pressed closer, whispering, "We face it together. Whatever comes, I am here. Do not let fear rule you." Her hand squeezed his, and she drew in a shaky breath, feeling the strength and warmth of love anchoring her to courage. The shadow moved one final step closer, the object now clear, a delicate locket she had worn long ago, a piece of her heart frozen in time. Her eyes widened, disbelief and shock crashing over her like waves. She felt anger, fear, and sorrow mingling with a strange, impossible longing for the person she had loved and lost. The figure beside her whispered, voice low and steady, "Face it, Emma. Only then can you be free." The shadow extended the locket toward her, the gesture both threatening and vulnerable. Emma's hands shook, but she reached forward, her fingers brushing the cold metal, a shock of memory and emotion searing through her. The wind howled, tearing through the street, rustling the fog, as if the night itself bore witness to the moment. Her breath caught in her throat, a sob trembling on her lips, as decades of fear, longing, and heartbreak converged. The figure pulled her slightly back, holding her close, whispering, "Whatever happens, I am here. You are not alone." The shadow paused, the fog thickening, hiding everything but the glint of the locket and the intense gaze that fixed her in place. Emma's heart raced, every beat a drum of defiance and fear, every fiber of her being alive with raw emotion. She realized in that moment that the past had shaped her, but it did not define her. The figure's eyes locked with hers, a silent plea, a promise of protection and a beacon of hope. Emma inhaled deeply, summoning every ounce of courage, every shred of strength and love within her. She stepped forward fully, facing the shadow, the locket, and the pain of years long buried. The fog swirled violently around them, the wind screaming, the night holding its breath as time seemed to stretch and bend. She felt fear, but also a strange exhilaration, the first taste of freedom she had known in years. The shadow's face softened, almost human now, a reflection of regret and longing that mirrored her own heart. Emma's hands tightened around the locket, feeling the weight of the past, the reality of the present, and the possibility of a future reclaimed. The figure whispered again, "Together. Whatever comes, together." Emma nodded, tears streaming freely, fear and love mingling in a storm of raw, aching emotion. The shadow lowered its hand, releasing the locket fully to her, and in that simple act, a fragile peace seemed to settle over the street. The wind slowed, the fog began to thin, revealing the empty street bathed in the dim glow of the lamps. Emma exhaled, a shuddering breath, her heart still pounding but lighter, freed from the weight of unspoken truths. The figure held her close, whispering softly, "You are safe now. You are finally free." Emma leaned into him, tears still flowing, feeling the warmth of love and courage enveloping her. The night seemed to sigh, the shadows retreating, the mist dissipating, leaving only the memory of fear and the triumph of facing it. Her chest heaved, her mind reeled, and yet, for the first time in years, she felt alive, whole and seen. The figure kissed her forehead, tender, protective, a silent promise that the horrors of the night had passed. Emma clutched the locket, feeling her heart beat strong, her past reconciled, her future uncertain but filled with hope. The night held its breath one last time, then released it, leaving her standing in the quiet street, hand in hand with the one who had always been her anchor. The wind whispered gently, the fog faded completely, and Emma finally allowed herself to feel the full weight of love, fear, and triumph. She realized that survival was not only about escaping danger, but about facing the heart's deepest fears, and embracing the courage to love fully again. In that moment, amidst the fading mist and the calm night, Emma knew she had begun her true journey, one of courage, love, and unshakable hope. The calm of the night was fragile, like glass ready to shatter. Emma felt it, a subtle tremor in the air, a warning that the darkness had not yet released its hold. The figure beside her tightened his grip, instinctively protective, aware of the unease rippling through the fog. A distant sound reached them, a low, rumbling growl, faint but unmistakable, echoing through the empty streets. Emma's stomach clenched, every nerve alive with fear. Her breath came shallow and fast, and she felt the cold bite deeper into her bones. "Stay close," he murmured, his voice steady despite the tension. "I will not let them touch you." The shadow that had retreated seemed to stir again. Hidden in the fog, unseen but palpable, a presence pressing against them like a weight. Emma's pulse raced, thundering against her chest, her mind a chaotic storm of fear, memory, and an impossible longing. The locket in her hand felt heavier now, a talisman of the past, of love lost and promises broken. She clenched it tightly, drawing strength from its cold metal and the memories it carried. The wind swirled violently, whipping the fog into twisting patterns that seemed almost alive, writhing around the street lamps. Emma felt as if the night itself was watching, waiting, holding its breath. A sudden movement to her left made her jump, heart leaping into her throat. The figure beside her moved swiftly, placing himself between her and the unknown threat. His eyes scanned the fog, sharp and vigilant, every muscle tensed like a coiled spring. "I see it," he whispered, his voice low but urgent. "They are close. Do not let them scare you. We are stronger together." Emma nodded, swallowing the lump in her throat, her fingers tightening around his hand. The shadow moved closer, slipping through the mist with an almost unnatural grace. Emma could feel the tension building, thick and suffocating, every second stretching into eternity. Her heart thudded so loudly it seemed to echo through the street, a frantic drumbeat of fear and anticipation. A sudden sharp cry pierced the night, the sound of metal scraping against stone, and the shadow froze. Emma's breath caught, her chest tightening, a cold dread seeping into her very bones. The figure pressed closer, his body a protective shield, his gaze unwavering as he whispered, "Do not fear. We face this together." The shadow stepped fully into the dim lamplight, and Emma gasped, recognizing the face she had thought she had escaped forever. The figure beside her tightened his grip, his jaw clenched, eyes narrowing toward the intruder. Emma felt a swirl of emotions, fear, shock, anger, and a strange, aching sorrow that pierced her heart. The shadow's eyes met hers, and in that gaze, she saw a reflection of pain and regret she had never truly confronted. "You cannot hide," the shadow said, voice low and harsh, "from the past that is yours to face." Emma's chest heaved, tears spilling down her cheeks, hot and unrelenting. Her mind raced, memories flooding back, nights of whispered promises, betrayal, stolen moments of love, and the cruel rupture of trust. The wind howled, carrying a faint metallic scent that made her stomach twist in dread. The figure beside her whispered urgently, "Do not let fear control you. Face it. Take the first step with me." Emma's fingers trembled around his hand, drawing strength from the connection, from the warmth, from the silent vow of protection. The shadow raised its hand, holding something that glinted in the lamp's dim glow, a small, familiar object, a reminder of everything she had tried to bury. Emma recognized it immediately. A pendant, the twin of her locket, lost long ago, a symbol of promises broken and love that had never died. Her breath caught, shock and disbelief rendering her almost mute. The shadow's eyes softened for a moment, revealing a fragile humanity beneath the menace. "You must remember," it said, "or you will never be free." Emma's mind swirled with memories, pain, longing, and a strange, piercing clarity. The figure beside her whispered, "You can face it. Together. Whatever comes, we are together." Emma felt a surge of courage, a defiance born from love, fear, and survival. She stepped forward, hand in his, drawing on every ounce of strength within her. The shadow mirrored her movement, tense, unreadable, yet not hostile now, something more complex simmering beneath the surface. The fog shifted, revealing the locket and pendant in their hands, symbols of a past that had haunted her for years. Emma's tears flowed freely, mixing fear with relief, grief with a glimmer of hope. The wind whipped through the street, carrying with it a chorus of whispers, faint and distant, like echoes of long-buried secrets. She could feel the tension coiling in the air, electric and raw, as if the night itself was alive and watching. The shadow spoke again, voice barely above a whisper. "You cannot run from what you feel, from what you love, from what you lost." Emma's chest heaved, every emotion crashing into her in waves. Pain, longing, fear, and the first stirrings of a cautious hope. The figure beside her whispered, "Trust yourself. Trust us. You are not alone." Emma's hand trembled in his, the locket and pendant cold but grounding her, a connection to both the past and the present. The shadow lowered its hand slowly, relinquishing the pendant to her, the gesture fragile and tentative. Emma took it, feeling a shock of memory and emotion ripple through her. Her heart ached, yet in the ache was clarity. The past could not destroy her. The figure drew her close, whispering, "We face this night together. Whatever comes, we are stronger than fear." The shadow's eyes met hers one last time, a silent apology, a final acknowledgement of love lost and lessons learned. The fog began to dissipate, the wind calming, the night exhaling its tension. Emma's tears flowed freely, relief and grief mingling, the weight of years lifting slightly from her shoulders. The figure kissed her forehead, tender, protective, grounding her in a present filled with possibility. Emma clutched the pendant, feeling the connection to her past and the fragile promise of a future reborn. The street was silent now, the shadows retreating, the mist dissolving into a calm, starry night. Her heart still pounded, but not solely with fear, now with courage, love, and an aching, beautiful hope. The figure whispered, voice soft and intimate, "You are free, and you are not alone. Never alone." Emma leaned into him, letting the tears fall, the emotions crash, the suspense and terror fade into a profound, trembling relief. She realized the past could no longer bind her. The love she felt, the courage she had found, and the bond they shared could face any shadow. The locket and pendant rested in her hands, cold yet comforting, symbols of survival, love, and the unyielding power of facing truth. The wind stirred gently, the night finally calm, and Emma understood fully that she had walked through fear, despair, and suspense, and emerged alive, whole and unbroken. The figure held her close, whispering, "Together we are unstoppable. Together, nothing can harm you." Emma closed her eyes, drawing strength from his words, from his presence, from the love that had survived every shadow, every fear, every night. In that quiet street, under the fading mist and the first hints of dawn, Emma felt the full weight of her courage, the depth of her love, and the beauty of survival. She realized that facing the heart's darkest fears was the only way to reclaim life, to embrace love fully, and to finally, truly begin again. The first hint of dawn crept across the sky, softening the darkness, yet the air remained heavy, thick with tension and unspoken truths. Emma's fingers clutched the pendant and locket tightly, the cold metal grounding her in a reality that still felt fragile, like glass balanced on the edge of a cliff. Her heart pounded, a relentless rhythm echoing in her ears, a storm of fear, love, and anticipation. The figure beside her pressed closer, their warmth a lifeline, a tether to courage she did not know she possessed. The shadow that had haunted her for hours seemed to linger still, unseen yet present, a weight pressing against the night itself. Emma swallowed hard, her throat tight, as if the very act of breathing required permission from the universe. "Emma," the figure whispered, voice low and steady, "we must move. There is more you must see, truths you cannot avoid." Her pulse quickened, a surge of adrenaline mixing with the ache of curiosity and dread. Every instinct screamed to run, to flee into the empty streets, to escape the shadows that clung to her past. Yet another part, a deeper, more desperate part, drew her forward toward the unknown, toward the reckoning that had always waited. The shadow shifted, and now she saw it fully, darker and more menacing than before, yet not entirely human. Its presence radiated cold, a suffocating pressure that seemed to seep into her bones. Emma felt her stomach twist, fear and anticipation coiling together like serpents in her chest. The figure squeezed her hand, whispering, "I am here. Do not let fear rule you. Trust me, trust yourself." Her legs trembled, yet she stepped forward, one careful, deliberate step, feeling the weight of the night pressing down with every movement. The shadow moved in response, circling, almost testing her resolve, the fog curling around it like smoke, hiding its true form. Emma's eyes darted to the locket and pendant, reminders of a love lost and promises broken, and she felt tears sting her eyes. Her breath came fast, shallow, each exhale a tremor of fear and hope intertwined. A sudden gust of wind swept down the street, whipping her hair into her face, carrying with it the faint scent of roses and something metallic, a warning she could not ignore. The figure leaned close, voice barely a whisper. "You are stronger than you know. The shadows cannot touch you if you remain steadfast. Emma nodded, swallowing hard, the lump in her throat threatening to choke her, as a cold realization settled in her stomach. The shadow moved again, closer now, deliberate and fluid, like a predator circling its prey. Her heart leapt, and she felt the tremor of fear surge through her body. The street seemed endless, the fog wrapping tighter around them, swallowing the lamps, the buildings, the world beyond. Emma could feel every nerve in her body alive, heightened to an intensity she had never known. The shadow stopped suddenly, mere feet away, and the air thickened with tension, pressing against her chest like a physical force. She could hear her own heartbeat, loud and insistent, and she realized it was the only sound anchoring her to herself. The figure beside her whispered, "Whatever happens, we face it together. I will not let you fall." Emma drew in a shaky breath, trembling, yet she felt a surge of courage. The shadow's form began to shimmer, indistinct, almost unreal, as if the fog itself gave it life. Her chest tightened, a sharp, aching knot of fear and longing. The locket and pendant pulsed cold against her fingers, reminders of love, loss, and the choices that had shaped her. The shadow raised its hand slowly, revealing the glint of a key, old and tarnished, yet gleaming in the dim light. Emma's eyes widened, recognition and shock flooding her. It was the key to a place she had once called home, a place she had left behind, a sanctuary that now felt like both refuge and prison. The figure pressed his hand over hers on the locket, grounding her, anchoring her courage. "You must take it," he whispered. "Face the past, embrace the truth, or it will consume you." Emma felt her legs shake violently, the weight of years of fear, of unspoken truths pressing down upon her. The shadow extended the key fully, its eyes fixed on hers, unblinking, a mixture of warning and unspoken sorrow reflected in its gaze. Tears streamed down her cheeks, hot and relentless, as memories cascaded through her mind. Laughter, tears, betrayal, love, and nights she had thought lost forever. Her chest heaved as she reached forward, trembling fingers brushing the cold metal of the key. The moment stretched, taut as a wire, the fog swirling violently, the night alive with anticipation. The shadow did not move, merely watched, waiting for her to claim the courage that had always been inside her. The figure beside her whispered again, softly, urgently, "Do not falter. The past is only a shadow. It cannot define you anymore." Emma's hand closed around the key, cold and real, a symbol of both fear and strength. The shadow seemed to exhale as if releasing something, and the air around them shifted, the tension easing slightly, though still electric, dangerous, alive. The fog began to thin, revealing the empty street, the distant houses, and the faint glow of the dawn. Emma's heart still raced, yet within the chaos, she felt a spark of clarity, a fragile thread of hope. The figure pressed closer, whispering, "Together we step into the light. Nothing can harm you now." The shadow's eyes lingered on hers one last time, and she saw a flicker of regret, of longing, of a story unfinished but acknowledged. Emma's tears fell freely now, the ache of the past mingling with relief, love, and a trembling hope. The figure kissed her forehead, soft, protective, a promise that the night's terror was not the end, but a beginning. The key felt heavy yet liberating in her hand, a bridge between what had been lost and what could be regained. Emma exhaled, drawing in the crisp morning air, the mist dissolving into a calm, clear day. The wind softened, carrying away the last whispers of the night, the shadows retreating, the tension fading. She realized that the journey through fear, suspense, and heartbreak had transformed her, forging a courage she had never known. The figure's hand remained in hers, warm and steady, a lifeline that had anchored her to love, trust, and hope. Emma looked toward the street ahead, the key a symbol of choice, of destiny, and of the courage to embrace life fully again. The fog lifted completely now, revealing the world, fragile and beautiful, waiting for her to step forward. Her heart pounded, tears still streaking her cheeks, yet she felt alive, unbroken, and ready. The figure whispered one last time, "We face it together, whatever comes. Fear cannot bind us anymore." Emma nodded, her fingers tightening around the key, the locket, the pendant, her heart swelling with love, courage and unshakable hope. The sun began to rise, golden light filtering through the mist, and in that moment, she realized she had survived the night, faced her shadows, and emerged stronger, braver, and more alive than ever. Every heartbeat, every breath, every tear was a testament to survival, to love, and to the strength of facing the heart's deepest fears. The street was silent now, peaceful yet full of unspoken stories, the night's suspense lingering like a memory she would never forget. Emma drew the figure close, feeling the warmth, the protection, and the unbreakable bond that had carried her through darkness. The key in her hand, the locket and pendant pressed to her chest, she stepped forward, embracing the dawn, the light, and the future that awaited, filled with courage, love, and the promise of freedom. The sun had just begun to pierce the fog, golden streaks cutting through the lingering shadows, yet the air remained heavy, thick with suspense. Emma clutched the key, her fingers trembling, cold from the night but burning with anticipation. The figure beside her kept a protective hand on her back, guiding, steadying, a silent promise that she was not alone. The shadow that had haunted her all night now seemed to linger at the edge of perception, just beyond the dissipating mist, like a question demanding an answer. Emma swallowed hard, the weight of the past pressing against her chest, memories crashing into her all at once. She remembered the nights of whispered secrets, laughter, and stolen moments. She remembered the betrayals, the sudden heartbreak, the empty nights when hope had seemed impossible. The figure's voice broke through her reverie, low and urgent. "Emma, we must step forward. The answers are waiting, but you cannot face them by standing still." Her heart raced, each beat echoing in her ears like a drum of war. Every instinct screamed to run, yet she felt an unexplainable pull toward the unknown, toward the truth she had avoided for so long. The shadow shifted again, its form almost unreal, stretching and contorting in the thinning mist. Emma could feel its presence pressing into her mind, a cold, suffocating awareness that made her knees tremble. The figure leaned close, whispering, "Trust yourself. Trust me. We will face this together." Her hands shook violently as she held onto the key, the locket, and the pendant, feeling the weight of every memory, every mistake, every moment of lost love. A sudden movement in the fog made her gasp. The shadow had advanced, circling closer, deliberate, predator-like. Emma's chest tightened painfully, a mix of fear, anticipation, and the ache of long-buried longing flooding her. The figure pressed close, grounding her, shielding her from the terror that radiated from the darkness. "You can do this," he whispered, voice steady despite the tension. "Face it. Embrace it. Let it go." The shadow stopped abruptly, just a few feet away. Its face emerged from the mist, twisted by grief, regret, and an almost human vulnerability that made Emma's stomach clench. Her breath caught, the years of pain and longing crashing over her like a wave. "You cannot run from me, Emma," the shadow hissed, voice layered with accusation and sorrow. "The past belongs to you, and it will not be ignored." Emma's hands shook as she raised the key, holding it before her like a shield, trembling yet resolute. The figure's hand covered hers, steadying her, whispering, "I am here. You're not alone. Whatever comes, we face it together." Her heart pounded, every nerve in her body alive, every sense heightened, every memory aching in the fresh light of truth. The shadow extended its hand, holding out something gleaming, an envelope, old and worn, sealed with a crimson wax stamp. Emma's eyes widened, recognition striking her like a lightning bolt. It was a letter she had written long ago, words she had poured out in desperation and hope, never sent, never forgotten. Tears blurred her vision, and the wind carried the scent of paper and ink, a haunting reminder of promises, regrets, and dreams that had never died. The figure whispered urgently, "Take it. Face it. The past cannot control you if you accept it." Her fingers shook violently as she reached forward, brushing against the envelope, a shock of emotion searing through her. The shadow's eyes softened for a moment, a flicker of vulnerability breaking through the menace. Emma's chest heaved and tears streamed down her cheeks, her heart aching, yet within that ache, a spark of clarity, courage, and hope ignited. The wind swirled, thickening the fog briefly, making the moment feel suspended, eternal, almost sacred. The figure held her close, whispering, "We are stronger than the past. We are stronger than fear. Together, nothing can break us." Emma nodded, drawing a deep, shaky breath, feeling the weight of years and the possibility of freedom pressing against her soul. She opened the envelope, hands trembling, and as she read the words she had written years ago, memories cascaded. Love, heartbreak, betrayal, hope, and longing. Each sentence struck her heart anew, but with it came understanding, clarity, and a strange sense of release. The shadow moved back slightly, allowing her space, yet still present, a reminder that the past was never truly gone, only acknowledged. Emma folded the letter carefully, pressing it to her chest, feeling the weight of her emotions. Grief, love, hope, and courage mingling into a powerful storm within her. The figure's eyes met hers, filled with pride, love, and reassurance. "You have faced it," he whispered. "You have embraced the past without letting it destroy you. That is true strength." Emma's tears fell freely, a mixture of relief and lingering pain, the emotional storm within her slowly calming. The shadow seemed to waver, its form dissipating slightly as the first rays of sunlight broke fully through the fog. Emma realized in that moment that the terror of the night, the suspense, the fear had transformed her. She was no longer the frightened, uncertain woman who had walked into the fog hours ago. She was stronger, braver, and capable of facing the truths of her life and the shadows of her heart. The figure pressed a kiss to her temple, soft and tender, grounding her further in the present, in love, in hope. Emma clutched the locket, pendant, key, and letter, all symbols of the past, of survival, of choices made and truths faced. The shadow finally receded, leaving the street empty but still echoing with the weight of the night's events. Her breath came steady now, her heart still pounding but with a rhythm of triumph, relief, and awakening. She realized she had not only survived the night but had reclaimed her courage, her love, and her ability to face life fully. The figure whispered once more softly, "Whatever comes, we face it together. Nothing can harm us if we remain united." Emma nodded, tears still wet on her cheeks, her heart full of emotion, strength, and hope. She took a step forward, holding the key and locket close, the letter pressed to her chest, stepping into a world that was no longer dominated by fear. The morning light warmed her skin, the fog lifted completely, and for the first time in years, Emma felt a true sense of freedom. Her heart swelled with love for the man who had stood beside her, unwavering through terror, suspense, and heartbreak. She realized that the night's trials had not broken her. They had forged her, shaped her, and revealed the strength she had always possessed. Emma's gaze lifted to the sky, golden rays spilling across the street, washing away shadows, washing away doubt. She felt alive, fully and completely, every heartbeat a testament to courage, every breath a promise of hope. The figure held her hand, their fingers intertwined, anchoring her in the safety, love, and strength of their bond. The night's suspense and drama had ended, but the lessons, the love, and the resilience would remain forever, etched into her heart. Emma stepped forward into the light, embracing the day, embracing the future, and embracing the love that had guided her through darkness. The shadows of the past lingered only as reminders, not chains, and she realized that the most profound courage was in facing fear, heartbreak, and suspense, and choosing to keep moving forward. Her heart still ached, yet it ached with beauty, with hope, and with the thrilling, terrifying, exhilarating knowledge that she was alive, and that she could love fully again. The figure drew her close once more, whispering, "We have faced the shadows together, and now we can truly begin." Emma closed her eyes, letting the warmth, the light, and the love wash over her, feeling every emotion, every thrill, every pang of fear transform into the triumph of survival, courage, and the first true dawn of a new life. The golden light of dawn warmed her face, yet the air remained heavy, thick with the echoes of the night she had survived. Emma's chest heaved, her heart pounding not with fear, but with the exhilaration of having faced her darkest memories. The key, locket, and pendant rested in her trembling hands, weighty symbols of the past she had finally confronted. The figure beside her stood silently, tall and steadfast, his gaze sweeping the street for any lingering threat, protective and unwavering. The fog had retreated, but an invisible tension lingered, as if the night itself had not finished testing her. Emma's mind was a whirlwind, replaying every shadow, every whisper, every heartbeat of the night. The shadow that had tormented her seemed gone, yet she felt its presence in every shiver of air, in every flicker of light, in the tightening of her chest. She pressed closer to him, seeking comfort, safety, and a reminder that she was not alone. "You are safe," he whispered, voice low, tender, steady. "For now. But the night is not entirely behind us. Some truths will always linger." Emma swallowed, tears stinging her eyes, and nodded, gripping his hand tightly. Her legs shook, not with fear now, but with the lingering adrenaline of a night spent dancing with terror and hope. She could feel the warmth of his hand grounding her, anchoring her, a lifeline in a world that had seemed suddenly fragile and unpredictable. A sudden movement caught her eye, a shadow flickering across the alleyway, quick and deliberate. Her heart leapt into her throat, panic rising again, and she tightened her grip on the locket. The figure reacted instantly, placing himself between her and the unseen danger, eyes sharp, body tense like a coiled spring. Emma felt a thrill of fear spike through her, the suspense mingling with a strange, unspoken exhilaration. "You are stronger than you know," he whispered, voice firm. "Do not let it scare you. Face it. Only then can we move forward." The shadow emerged from the fog, taller than expected, face obscured, but the aura of menace unmistakable. Emma's stomach twisted. She recognized the movements, the deliberate, calculated way it approached. Memories surged through her, long-forgotten moments of deceit, whispered lies, and secrets she had tried to bury. Tears welled in her eyes as the weight of the past pressed down, suffocating yet strangely clarifying. The shadow stopped a few feet away, revealing an object clutched in its hand, a small black journal, worn at the edges, familiar. Emma gasped, recognition and disbelief flooding her senses. It was the journal she had thought lost years ago, filled with confessions, secrets, and moments that had once seemed trivial but now held immense power. The figure pressed his hand to hers, grounding her, whispering, "Take it. Face it. Only by embracing the truth can you be free." Her fingers trembled as she reached out, brushing the cold leather of the journal, feeling a shock of memory, emotion, and raw fear. The shadow's eyes softened, flickering with regret, almost human vulnerability peeking through the menace. Emma's chest ached as tears streamed freely. The night's terror, suspense, and heartbreak merged with love, hope, and the strange, piercing clarity of survival. The wind howled through the empty street, bending the fog in twisting patterns that seemed alive, swirling around them like silent witnesses to the drama unfolding. The figure leaned closer, whispering urgently, "This is the moment. Do not let fear hold you. Step forward. Face it. We are together." Emma drew a deep breath, swallowing the lump in her throat, her trembling fingers gripping the journal. Every nerve in her body was alive, heightened, aware of every heartbeat, every breath, every flicker of shadow. The shadow extended the journal toward her fully, as if testing her resolve, eyes locked on hers, unblinking, intense. Emma felt the weight of the night, of lost years, of broken promises, and she realized that the power it held was not in itself, but in her willingness to face it. Her hands shook violently, tears mixing with sweat, but she closed them around the journal, pulling it close to her chest. The shadow stepped back, a final acknowledgement, the menace receding, leaving a fragile, tense calm. Emma's eyes met the figure's, and in that gaze, she saw love, trust, protection, and unwavering devotion. "You did it," he whispered softly, voice trembling with pride. "You faced it. You survived it. You are free." Emma exhaled shakily, the storm of emotion within her slowly settling, replaced by a fragile sense of clarity, hope, and awakening. The journal in her hands, the locket and pendant pressed to her heart, the key in her pocket, all symbols of the past she had conquered, yet reminders of lessons learned. The first full rays of sunlight broke through the mist, illuminating the street, the buildings, the world around her. Emma realized the night's trials had not broken her. They had shaped her, forged her courage, and awakened a resilience she had never known. The figure drew her close, whispering, "We faced the shadows together. Nothing can harm us now. Whatever comes, we are stronger." Her tears fell freely, a mixture of relief, sorrow, and the profound awakening of love and hope. The shadow, now nothing more than a memory, seemed to retreat fully, the lingering tension dissolving in the morning light. Emma pressed her forehead against his chest, feeling the warmth, safety, and unwavering support radiating from him. Her heart still ached from the night's suspense, terror, and revelations, but it was alive, fierce, and ready. She realized she could face any darkness, any fear, any heartbreak, as long as she did not face it alone. The figure held her tighter, whispering, "Together we begin anew. Whatever comes, we are unbreakable." Emma closed her eyes, tears falling freely, letting the warmth, love, and hope wash over her, feeling every pang of fear transform into courage, and every echo of the past into wisdom. The journal, key, locket, and pendant were no longer burdens. They were proof of survival, love, and the indomitable strength of the heart. The morning air carried a quiet promise, soft and fragile, of a future rebuilt, of love reclaimed, and of life fully embraced. Emma stepped forward, hand in his, heart full of courage, love, and hope, ready to face the world anew. The street was quiet now, bathed in golden light, shadows retreating, leaving only the warmth of dawn and the first fragile steps toward healing. Her chest heaved, her mind clear for the first time in years, and she realized that true freedom came not from avoiding the past, but from facing it, embracing it, and moving forward with courage and love. The figure whispered again, soft, tender, unwavering, "We face the world together now and always. Nothing can stop us." Emma nodded, tears still streaming, and for the first time she felt unshakable, alive, and fully herself. The morning had arrived, carrying with it the promise of new beginnings, the triumph of courage, and the unyielding power of love. And as she held his hand, felt his warmth, and gazed at the rising sun, she knew that the shadows of the past would never hold her again. She was free, she was alive, and she was ready to embrace every moment of the life she had fought so hard to reclaim. The morning light filtered through the mist, soft and golden, yet the air remained thick with unspoken tension. Emma's hands trembled as she held the locket, pendant, key, and journal, the remnants of a night that had tested every fiber of her being. The figure beside her stayed close, protective, unwavering, his presence a shield against the shadows that still lingered at the edges of her mind. The street, empty and quiet, seemed deceptively peaceful. Emma sensed it, a subtle vibration in the air, a pulse of energy that made her skin tingle. The shadow from the night before, though unseen, still felt alive, as if waiting, watching, daring her to let her guard down. Her chest ached, a mix of exhaustion and adrenaline, the memories of the night replaying in vivid flashes. She remembered the fear, the whispers of the fog, the cold hand brushing hers, the metallic scrape in the alley. Her pulse raced as she realized the past was not entirely behind her. It was still very much alive, hiding in corners, lingering in the fog, in the echoes of every sound. The figure's hand on her back reassured her, warm and firm, anchoring her to the present. "Emma," he whispered, voice low, intimate. "Do you feel it? Something is not right. The night is not done with us yet." Her heart thudded violently. Every instinct screamed danger, yet a strange curiosity, a pull toward the unknown, held her rooted. A flicker of movement caught her eye, a shadow at the end of the street, darker, heavier, almost unnatural. Emma's breath hitched, and she felt her stomach drop. The figure tightened his grip on her hand. "Stay close. Do not let it intimidate you. Face it. Only then can we end this." She nodded, swallowing hard, the lump in her throat a weight she could not dispel. The shadow moved, slow and deliberate, emerging from the mist like a predator circling its prey. Emma could feel her pulse in her temples, a frantic rhythm, echoing every heartbeat of the night before. She gripped the journal tightly, the key cold against her palm, the locket and pendant pressed to her chest. Every sense screamed alert, wind rustling leaves, distant creaking, the soft beat of her own frightened heart. The shadow's form solidified, and she saw it fully now, taller, more imposing, its presence suffocating yet mesmerizing. Her stomach twisted. She recognized the figure, though now it was different, altered by the darkness it had carried. It held something in its hand, a photograph, old and worn, frayed at the edges, depicting a moment from her past she had thought forgotten. Emma gasped, tears stinging her eyes as memories surged. Laughter, love, betrayal, promises whispered in the dark. The figure beside her pressed closer, whispering, "Take it. Face it. Confront the past, or it will never release you." Her trembling fingers reached for the photograph, brushing its cold surface. A shock ran through her. Pain, nostalgia, longing, and a strange, aching recognition that set her heart racing. The shadow spoke, voice low and haunting. "You cannot hide from what you were. You cannot escape what you have become." Emma's breath caught. Her chest tightened. She felt the ache of years pressing into her heart, threatening to crush her resolve. The figure whispered into her ear, "Do not listen to the fear. Focus on the strength you have gained. I'm here. You are not alone." Her hand shook violently, clutching the photograph and the locket, the key and journal a tangible reminder of all she had faced. The shadow stepped closer, each movement deliberate, a predator testing her courage. Emma felt her knees weaken, yet she did not move back. The figure beside her whispered urgently, "You are stronger than you think. Face it. Step into the truth. Only then can you be free." The wind howled, swirling the fog in chaotic patterns around them, bending light and shadow into shapes that seemed alive. Emma's heart pounded, each beat a drum of suspense and raw emotion. The shadow held out the photograph fully, the eyes in it seeming to stare directly at her soul. She inhaled sharply, trembling, and accepted it with both hands. Memories hit her like waves. Pain, longing, lost love, and moments of courage she had never acknowledged. Her chest heaved as tears streamed freely. The figure pressed a hand to hers, steadying, grounding her, whispering, "We face this together. Whatever comes, we endure." The shadow receded slightly, a flicker of human emotion crossing its face, a mixture of regret, longing, and acknowledgement. Emma's mind raced, her heart aching with the weight of unspoken words and unresolved moments. She pressed the photograph to her chest, her fingers curling around it as if it could absorb her pain and transform it into courage. The fog lifted slightly, the morning light cutting through, revealing the empty street, the distant buildings, and a fragile sense of calm. Emma drew a deep breath, feeling the adrenaline and fear mix with relief and love. The figure whispered once more, "You have faced it. You have embraced your past without letting it destroy you. That is true courage." Tears streamed freely, but her heart felt lighter, freer, brimming with love, resilience, and a profound, aching hope. The shadow finally retreated, leaving only the echo of its presence, a reminder of the trials she had endured and survived. Emma looked at the figure beside her, their eyes locking, and she felt the warmth, trust, and unwavering devotion radiating from him. "You are safe now," he whispered, "and together we will face whatever comes. Nothing can break us." Her chest heaved, relief and love mingling, and for the first time in years, she felt the terrifying weight of the past lift slightly from her shoulders. The locket, pendant, key, journal, and photograph, symbols of fear, love, and memory, rested in her hands, no longer burdens but proof of survival and courage. She exhaled shakily, the morning sun warming her face, golden rays illuminating a world that was fragile, yet beautiful, full of promise and possibility. The figure kissed her temple gently, protective, grounding, and Emma leaned into him, feeling the strength and love that had carried her through the night. She realized that she could face any shadow, any fear, any heartbreak, as long as she did not face it alone. The suspense, drama, and emotional intensity of the night had transformed her. Her heart still ached, yet it ached with love, courage, and hope. Emma stepped forward into the sunlight, hand in his, heart full of renewed strength, embracing the day, the future, and the possibility of love that had survived even the darkest hours. The morning breeze carried away the last whispers of the night, the shadows fading, leaving her standing fully alive, unbroken and ready. The figure whispered once more softly. We face the world together, now and always. Nothing can harm us if we are united. Emma nodded, tears still streaking her cheeks, heart soaring, and she finally felt the freedom, love, and courage she had fought so hard to reclaim. The sun rose higher, the mist disappeared, and Emma took her first true steps into a life rebuilt, a heart unchained, and a love that had endured every shadow. She was alive, she was strong, and for the first time, she truly believed that the past no longer held power over her. The sunlight poured over the street now, warm and golden, washing away the last remnants of mist and shadow. Emma's heart still thudded, a gentle rhythm after the storm of the night, carrying with it echoes of fear, suspense, and long-buried love. She held the locket, the pendant, the key, and the journal close to her chest, feeling the weight of memories transform into courage, resilience, and hope. The figure beside her, unwavering and steadfast, rested a protective hand on her shoulder. His eyes met hers, filled with love, pride, and unspoken promises that no shadow, no fear could ever break. For the first time in years, Emma felt the profound, terrifying, exhilarating truth: she was free. The horrors, suspense, and shadows of the night had not defeated her. They had shaped her, forged her, and taught her the depth of her own courage. She drew a slow, steady breath, letting the warmth of the sun, the light of a new day, and the presence of love fill her completely. The streets, once cloaked in mist and menace, now seemed quiet, peaceful, almost sacred, as if the world itself had acknowledged her victory. Emma looked down at the photograph, the letter, and the journal, tears still glistening in her eyes. Every page, every memory, every shadow of the past had led her here, to this moment of clarity, of triumph, and of love reclaimed. The figure whispered softly, voice tender and unwavering, "Whatever comes, we face it together. You're never alone. You are stronger than you know." Emma nodded, her chest rising and falling steadily, the ache of the night melting into a fragile golden hope. She stepped forward, hand in his, feeling the warmth, the strength, and the unwavering promise that whatever darkness awaited, they would face it together. The last shadow of fear seemed to dissolve completely, leaving only memory, love, courage, and the quiet thrill of survival. The city awakened around them, the distant hum of life, the soft flutter of leaves, the warm kiss of sunlight on their faces. Emma turned toward him, eyes shimmering, voice breaking slightly as she whispered, "Thank you for standing by me, for never letting go." He smiled, a quiet, knowing smile, and drew her closer, their hands entwined, hearts beating in unison, a silent vow of protection, love, and shared courage. The locket and pendant rested against her chest, the key and journal a reminder of all she had faced and overcome. She realized that life, with all its suspense, heartbreak, and shadows, was worth every fear endured, every tear shed, and every risk taken. The fog of the past had lifted, leaving clarity, light, and the unshakable certainty that she was ready for whatever the future held. And as she looked into his eyes, she knew that the night's darkness had been only the beginning of a life reclaimed, of love discovered, and of courage awakened. The street, once silent and ominous, now hummed softly with promise. Emma took a slow breath, feeling the weight of the past and the lightness of the present merge within her heart. She knew she would remember this night forever. The suspense, the terror, the love, the fear, and the triumph. It was a night of transformation, a night of awakening, a night that would echo in her soul for the rest of her life. And as the first real sunlight of day bathed them, she finally allowed herself to smile, truly and completely, free from the chains of fear, full of hope, and alive in every sense of the word. The figure squeezed her hand gently, whispering, "Let us walk forward into the light together. Always together." Emma nodded, and together, they stepped into the warmth of the morning, hearts beating as one, leaving behind shadows, fear, and the night that had tested them. The memory of the night lingered, bittersweet and beautiful, a story of suspense, love, courage, and the human heart's unyielding strength. And as they walked, Emma realized something profound. Life's shadows were never truly to be feared. They were to be faced, embraced, and overcome, for they made the light all the more precious. If you have felt the suspense, lived the fear, and shared the love of Emma's journey, and want to see more stories like this, stories that touch the heart, thrill the mind, and stay with you forever, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Join us for more tales of love, suspense, and unforgettable emotions. Subscribe now, and be part of every heartbeat, every shadow, and every story that will stay with you long after the last page is closed.